Vanakkam, this is Liam in for Bear. 3 vendors sell universities an admin console. Only one of them ships a field that lets an organization write instructions the model follows in every conversation, for every person overriding what the user asks for. 3,000 characters. Universities on Enterprise have it. As far as public evidence goes, not one has written in it. Start with who Claude actually answers to. There are 3 and they are ranked. The platform sets rules the model will not break. Beneath that, an operator, whoever deployed it, can write instructions. Beneath that, most people only ever meet the 3rd layer, so they assume it is the only one. And the middle band is not a metaphor. Anthropic's Help Center has a page for it. Organization instructions, available to admins and owners on team and enterprise plans, maximum length 3,000 characters, applying to their words, all people in your organization, every conversation. Here is the part that makes it an operator layer rather than a preference. Quote, when both are set, organization instructions take precedence. If an individual instruction directly contradicts an organization instruction, Claude favors the organization-level instruction. The student can ask for the opposite. The student loses. It is not unlimited. Same page, next paragraph. Organization preferences cannot disable Claude's built-in safety guidelines or content policies. Instructions that conflict with Claude's core training will not be followed. So the whole ranking is documented in one help article. The platform outranks the operator outranks you. Before we ask who used it, be fair about who has it. 3 vendors, 3 different amounts of lever. Anthropic ships the instruction field we just read. OpenAI's Enterprise and Edu give you roles, permissions, and custom GPTs you can push across a workspace, but no workspace-level setting that restrains how answers come out. You build that by hand inside one GPT. Google's education controls are toggles, per app, per org unit. Plus age gating, which surfaces are on, not how they behave. So the lever exists, it is precise, and it is documented. The obvious question is who has pulled it. And immediately the research gets hard for a reason worth naming. Having a contract and having configured behavior are different facts, and almost every announcement collapses them. A university buys Enterprise for data privacy and compliance. The admin console appears. Nobody opens it. The press release still says the university has adopted Claude, which is true, and tells you nothing. And that distinction eats the most obvious candidates. Northeastern, the London School of Economics, Champlain, Carnegie Mellon. Everyone has a real deal with a real vendor, single sign-on, privacy terms, access to the vendor's own learning mode template. Not one of those is a university-authored instruction. The announcement is true. It is also not the thing. There's a third question underneath, and it is the one that started this. Who inside the institution has authority to write that field, and do they know they have it? A committee can spend a semester drafting syllabus language about AI, while the technical lever that would enforce any of it sits in a console nobody on the committee has heard of. And here's what the search returned. Across every institution with public evidence, IT policy pages, AI task force reports, faculty governance minutes, there's no documented case of a university writing an organization-wide instruction at campus scale. Not a weak signal, no signal. The capability is real and, as far as anything public shows, essentially unused at the level of every student, every conversation. What people built instead is genuinely interesting, and it is all one rung down. Sydney built Cogniti, a platform where an educator writes plain language instructions for an agent. Their words, no programming knowledge is needed, and the instruction, quote, isn't seen by students. The teacher they write is in the AI's driver's seat. And the most concrete artifact in this entire space is an agent called Mrs. S. An occupational therapy educator instructed it to role-play as a busy kindergarten teacher, and their words challenge the ideas that the students presented, push back if dissatisfied. That is an operator layer doing pedagogy. One course, one instructor, written by hand. Sydney is not alone at that rung. San Diego's Triton GPT lets instructors pick approved sources in a Socratic or directive style, and students cannot add their own materials. Michigan's Maisie lets faculty write system prompts against course sources. Arizona State built a language tutor. Vanderbilt built a platform, every one of them one course or one unit at a time. And one of them said the quiet part out loud. At York, an instructor built a course tutor as a Gemini gem, lecture materials, subject boundaries, the lot, and then told the students they could copy the prompt and the materials straight into any other AI tool. Not a leak, a design statement. They built a scaffold and refused to call it a fence. Look at what those have in common. Everyone is built by an instructor or a unit. Inside a platform, the university wrote itself for one course at a time. None is the vendor's own field. The institutions did not decline to use the operator layer. They built a parallel one by hand because the vendor's version was never presented to them as a thing a teacher could touch. One correction: I owe the source, and it corrected itself first. An earlier draft named a file called managedsettings.json as the mechanism behind campus deployments. It is real, but it is Claude code deployed by IT to developer machines governing tool permissions. It does carry a field that injects organization-managed instructions. It is not the chat layer, and treating it as one is a category error. One more thing belongs in this film because it happened while making it. A second research pass came back with more, named campus tools, precise counts, thousands of assistants, tens of thousands of students. It also invented a detail about the co-authors of the paper it was helping write. Every specific from that pass is quarantined, not disproved, unconfirmed. A source that fabricates one thing you can check has told you exactly what to do with everything you cannot. And the honest caveat, because this film's central claim is a negative. Nobody found a campus-wide deployment. That is not the same as nobody having one. Universities do not publish their admin console configuration, and there is no reason they would. What the evidence supports is narrower and still worth saying. If any institution is shaping model behavior at that scope, they have told no one, and nobody has written it down. So the gap is not that universities chose the wrong configuration. It is that the people writing AI policy and the people holding the field that would implement it are, at most institutions, not the same people and have never been in the same room. That is a fixable problem, and it is a much more interesting paper than another syllabus clause. One vendor ships the field, it is documented, precise, and it outranks the student. Every deployment anyone can point to was built one course at a time, around it rather than in it, and the reason is not technical. Your turn, paste this into Claude, find out who administers my university's enterprise or education contract, and ask them one question: has anyone ever written an organization-level instruction, and who would have the authority to? Not whether we have a license, everyone has a license. The second question is the one nobody has been asked, and at most institutions the answer will be a name that surprises you. Liam, in for Bear.